Global shift, new alliances, the West is left in the dust. Welcome back to the broadcast. You're watching the Global Observer, and I always urge you to stay right there. We are tracking a massive story tonight that is redrawing the map of West Africa. For decades, the Sahel region was the backyard of Western powers. Countries like Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso were close partners with France and the United States. But today, the wind has changed. We are seeing Russian military planes landing in the middle of the night. They are unloading weapons and fighters in places where French flags used to fly. This is the birth of the AES, the Alliance of the Sahel States. It is a new shield for a new era. But why is the West so desperate to see this alliance fail? The truth is disturbing, and it goes far beyond just simple politics. Let's dive in. For years, the West acted like the one and the only doctor in town. They told those nations that only European and American help could cure the plague of violence and poverty. But after 10 years of foreign troops on the ground, the sickness only got worse. Imagine a neighbor promising to help you fix a leaking roof. You pay them every month, but every time it rains, your house still gets flooded. Eventually, you would have to change that. You will stop asking that neighbor for help. You look for someone who will actually bring a ladder and some strangles. That is actually what is happening in Bamako and Niamey. The people are tired of half-hearted help. They are turning to Russia, Turkey, and China because these partners offer what they call real weapons and zero-risk training. Let's dive into how we got here, dear viewers. It feels like just yesterday that French soldiers were treated like heroes for pushing back rebels in northern Mali. Billions of euros poured in. The UN sent one of its biggest missions. But year after year, the security got worse. The bad actors weren't defeated, they just hid in the mountains and waited. The West tried to train local armies, but they did it in a way that felt insulting. In some cases, soldiers were told to use three branches to pretend they were holding guns during training. Can you imagine that? It is like a fire department telling a new recruit to practice putting out fire with an empty bucket. It doesn't work, and it destroyed trust. While the West focused on state building and human rights, the local people were just trying to survive the night. The breaking point came when the leaders of these countries decided they had enough of what they call French arrogance. France had stayed in its former colonies for over 60 years. They often told local presidents what to do and even how to do it. It was a relationship that felt more like a parent and a child than two equal partners. When the new military leaders like Colonel Assimi Goïta in Mali started looking for other options, France got angry. They told Mali, if you bring in the Russians, we will leave. Mali called their bluff and said, go ahead. This was a shock to the system. It was the first time these nations stood up and said they would choose their own friends. Now, dear viewers, the West is watching the AES alliance with fear. They aren't just worried about losing influence, they are worried about what they can no longer control. Take Niger, for instance. Niger is a massive prize. It is rich in uranium, which powers nuclear plants in Europe. But even more importantly, Niger is the gateway for people moving from Africa toward Europe. For years, the West paid Niger to block these migrants and the migrants' routes. They turned a bustling trade hub like Agadez into a ghost town. But now, with the new alliance, the rules have changed. The Nigerian government has reopened the road to Libya. Every Tuesday, huge convoys of trucks head north again. It is a legal business once more. This is Europe's biggest nightmare, losing the gatekeeper who keeps the migrants away from their shores. That is strange. But why is the West reaction so disturbing? It's because they seem more worried about Russia's footprint than the actual well-being of African people. Instead of asking why their own policies failed, Western leaders started a war of words. They called the new governments out-of-control juntas, yet they stayed silent when other nearby countries had similar military takeovers. This double standard did not go unnoticed. It fueled a fire of anti-Western feelings that is now spreading across the continent. Russia didn't have to do much work. The West did the marketing for them. Moscow just stepped in and offered a hand when the West was busy pointing fingers. The West also lost the battle for the hearts of the youth. The average age in the Sahel is just 15. These young people don't care about the history of 1960. They care about jobs and dignity. Turkey realized this. They built hospitals, schools, and airports. They made it easy for Africans to get visas to visit Istanbul for business or healthcare. Meanwhile, Europe made their borders look like fortresses. If you are a young businessman in Bamako, why would you struggle for months to get a French visa when you can go to Turkey in a week? The reorientation toward the East is a cultural shift. Paris is no longer the center of the world for the Sahel. Istanbul and Moscow, even Beijing, are the new destination. The AS alliance, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger is now a mutual defense pact. It is like their own version of the NATO. They have agreed that an attack on one is an attack on all. This very move was made to stop the Western-backed bloc, which is the ECOWAS, from using force to bring back the old leaders. The West wants this alliance to fail because it proves that African nations can survive without them. If the AES succeeds in securing their borders and growing their economies, other countries might follow their lead. It will be the end of the old neo-colonial era. The most disturbing part is the zero-sum game the West is playing. Recently, a US delegation told Niger they shouldn't work with Iran because of uranium. The very next day, Niger told the US military to pack their bags and leave their massive drones base in Agaze. The West keeps using threats, but those threats don't work anymore. The leaders in the Sahel are willing to risk everything to have total control over their land. They are recognizing and renegotiating mining deals and taking back their sovereignty. As we wrap up tonight, it is clear that we are watching a second independence movement. This isn't just about soldiers and guns. It is about the region deciding that its resources belong to its people. The West wants the AES to fail because a successful independent Africa is harder to exploit. But the energy in the streets of Ouagadougou and Bamako tells a different story. The people are singing, the flags are flying, and the old masters are being shown the door. This is a bold risk, an exciting time for Black history. We will continue to watch as these three nations build their future on their own terms. Thank you for staying with us for this deep dive into a changing face of the Sahel. I am your host, and this is a news brought to you by the Global Observer. Stay informed, stay proud, and I will see you next time. Do not forget to subscribe.